Okay, so hello guys, this is Venkat. So I have 10 years of IT experience. So I've started my career with an SAP Labs, so as a fresher. And after that, I have joined a couple of companies, and currently I'm working in SAP BODs and SAP HANA technologies in my company. Parallel to that, I'm into this online training, into corporate training, and even the classroom training. In the past 6 years, I'm into this the part-time, you can say that like passionate coaches and all. So that is all about mine. So hope you like it. So my point of view would be to explain you what is an SAP BODS. So how actually the SAP BODS is relates to an information steward. And so coming down days like 15 days or 20 days, we will be focusing most of the time on BODS and the information steward. So as a combination. So that is about the plan of action I have. So, but before that, before proceeding further, I would like to understand what is your experience level or expert level. So, whether like you guys have like any experience in SAP BODS or like the startups you have, so it depends upon that. So I can plan the syllabus and I can have the concepts ready for you guys to have a better understanding regarding an SAP BODS or information steward. I request all the guys one by one. So please introduce yourselves for the very first time so that from tomorrow onwards we can directly jump onto the concepts of an SAP BODS or information steward.
Venkat, sorry to interrupt in between. There's a background noise actually. So could you please check the maybe
Sure. Yeah.
Microphone along? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I'll check.
Thank you.
So I verified the settings. I think it seems to be fine. It should fine. So if it is not the case, just let me know. I will just check once again the noise level and all settings on my system. So yeah. So I request guys, so please introduce yourself so that so we can proceed further on. So anybody?
Hi Venkat,
Yeah.
this is Chandra.
Hi.
I am from Enersys Incorporated. I don't have any experience with SAP BODS, but I have worked with multiple ETL tools. And my team also the same way. They worked with multiple ETL tools, but I don't think we have any exposure to SAP BODS. So we are here. We are in the middle of the global implementation project, so we are trying to get some introduction to BODS so that we can do our master data migration from our legacy system into SAP.
Great. Yeah.
Venkat, this is Binoy Thomas. I have almost 10 years experience in SAP, and I am an MMSD techno-functional consultant. I do have some experience with the ETL tools, but SAP BODS is new to me. I am also researching on information steward, as our project is looking at using data services and information steward for data import and for data quality scorecard checks. And we are also on a roadmap to ramp up to MDG in coming months. So I'm trying to understand and learn more about BODS, information steward, and MDG in coming months.
Great. I got your point.
Hi, Venkat. This is Karen Carls. I'm a part of Chandra's team, and I have no experience on the BODS. I'll make it short and sweet.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So I understand that. So you all the experienced guys in different ETL tools, but you're new to an SAP BODS. I understand that. Okay, so I understand that from the discussion I have with Kavita and others. So your expectations are like, so you want to understand the full-fledged the information regarding an SAP BODS and even the required concepts. So how exactly the BODS and information steward are related. So that's what I understand. So now, so let me introduce an SAP BODS and what are all the other topics that we are going to cover and all and everything. So the topics from the the standpoint, so let me share my screen so that you will be able to see my screen and you will proceed from there. Yeah, here it is. I'm sharing my screen. I think you're able to see my screen here. Yeah, so this is the course content I have. So everything will be uploaded into the training blog by tomorrow, as Kavita mentioned earlier. And so the audience of this particular course could be who are responsible to perform an implementation and administration of an SAP data integration projects with the help of a data services or data integration, where we are going to make use of an SAP BODS 4.2. So the prerequisites of this particular course to learn is the data services is to have a data warehousing concepts and ETL concepts, and we need to have a SQL language, some part of a SQL language, and so architecture of an SAP data warehousing system, and etc. etc. These are all the prerequisite things that needs to have in order to learn an SAP BODS 4.2. So as I learned from our discussion, so all the guys in this session they are already know all these data warehousing concepts. So because you already worked on the several ETL non-SAP tools. So I assume that so you already have all these experiences of what is a data warehousing system, what is a data warehouse fundamentals, and etc. etc. But I will again start with what is the business intelligence, where actually the business intelligence actually the data integration or data quality part will actually fit into the actual business intelligence process. So we will try to understand each and everything from the fundamental standpoint. So after that, we will start with an SAP BODS overview. So what is an SAP BODS? What are all the benefits it is going to give us? What are all the associated products of an SAP BODS? What are all the interfaces we have? The data services architecture. So how actually the data services components will get scattered. So because from your the teammates like your manager that you're a startup the batch where you are responsible to set up the SAP BODS system, you have to run the BODS system and you have to maintain the BODS system. So we will also see that some part of what actually the components that are required starting from the installation. So what are all the modules that needs to have. So all these things that you will be able to understand in an SAP BODS overview session. So once we have learned an SAP BODS overview session, so we will be having like an SAP BODS designer concepts. So what is the bad jobs we have? So defining the data integrator transformations, what we have, what is meant by data quality, data platform transformations. So what are all actually meant by an address claims transformations, your coding transformations. What actually meant by an implementation of an SCD, the slowly changing dimension, type 0, type 1, type 2. So all these things that you will be able to understand and from the SAP BODS standpoint. And after that, you will try to understand what are the functions, the scripts, variables. So these are all the very, very important topics of an SAP BODS in order to perform with the complex coding or complex data migration project if you want to handle. For all these things, these functions, scripts, and variables, everything will be helpful for you. And similarly, you will also have what is the data assessment. This is something called as a data profiling. So this can be related to your information steward, and somewhat introduction to information steward can be handled in data assessment part of the data services. And similarly, how to handle errors, what is an exception handling, how to get an automatic email to your Outlook. So whenever any job got a failure, so all these things that you will be able to understand. So in this particular SAP BODS course, and how actually you can mention like if conditional clause, what is a while loop implementation, what is the change data capture, so what is the data mechanism, how the data mechanism will work. So all these things, different types of scenarios that you will be able to understand with the as part of a time variant concepts. So other than that, you will also see that how actually the SAP integration will happen with an SAP BODS. So how actually you are going to communicate with an SAP ECC system, how actually you are going to communicate with your SAP BW system, what is the difference between an ABAP data flow and the normal data flow. So once that is completed, so we will be entering into the very hot topic right now in the market, what is an SAP BODS and how actually the SAP BODS relates to an SAP HANA. So a little bit about an SAP HANA. So how actually the SAP HANA will help you in improving your business. So what are all the different steps involved with the SAP HANA implementation. So all the things that you will be able to understand as part of your the SAP BODS course. In addition to that, we will also see that the information steward, what is an information steward, how actually the different dashboards can be or scorecards can be created, what are all the different types of data quality dimensions we have as part of an information steward. So how actually the data cleansing packages can be worked out with an information steward. So how actually the metadata management will be implemented in information steward. So all these different types of scenarios that you will be able to understand in information steward. But we will start our journey of this particular 15 days or 20 days with an SAP BODS. Once we complete an SAP BODS, then we will focus on information steward. So because the information steward comes as a complementary product to the SAP BODS. So that's what I thought that now the SAP BODS should be our first priority. And after that, we will proceed with an information steward. So that is the plan of action I have, actually. So let me at the start a brief about what actually we are going to cover and all everything. So my request would be like, so if you have any questions, so just unmute yourself and you can ask me any questions freely, so that so we will be proceeding further, and I would like to make sure that the session should be interactive. So I will be asking some questions, and please bear with me, and you have to answer the questions and all and everything. So before starting up, so what actually is an SAP BODS and all, so do you have any questions so that you can ask me?
Venkat, one doubt I have is SAP data services based on BO, or is there a direct SAP data services without a BO as well?
Great question. Yeah. So actually, so what happens is, so initially in 2007 or mid of 2007, SAP has acquired business objects. Of course, you guys know that. So by the time SAP has acquired business objects, data services is a product of a business objects company. So whenever they have acquired, the data services now become an SAP product. So without the BO, so we can have a data services. It is not required to have a business objects component or business objects installation on your system. But we need to have a component called as central management console, that we will see that. So we need to have a component called as central management console, where you require a component that should be installed in your landscape so that you will be accessing the data services. Okay, so for that.
Sorry to jump into more topics, but is SAP data services with the central management console is delivered as part of ECC 6.0?
Great. So actually the things are, so whatever the ACC or whatever the SAP core components we have, whenever I say core components, so the ECC, the CRM, so all these different things are there. Those are all not at all related to your business objects or data services. from the installation standpoint. Okay, so these are all independent products. We are going to install it, and so we are going to relate. Depends upon the data extraction, depends upon the data integration, and it depends upon the data quality and data loading. So I will try to explain you the SAP core is entirely different. The SAP business objects is an entirely different. There is no relationship between those two from the installation standpoint. Everything is independent products. Okay, this is a very common problem I normally face with the guys who have more years of experience on SAP world, actually SAP core. So so for those people, so the confusion is very common. The point here is the SAP is completely different. Business objects is completely different. Two independent companies, they have their own products, and SAP has acquired business objects. Now all the products of business objects now become an SAP product. So that is the basic the business deals they have at that time. Did I answer your question?
Yes, Venkat, I'm clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So now, so we will proceed with, so what is an SAP BODS 4.2? So any guesses? So what you know? So I would like to, hear from you guys. So what is an SAP BODS 4.2? Yes, please. So I would like to hear from you what you know about an SAP BODS 4.2. So anything should be fine. How it will work out, or what you know about it, your experience actually.
Is it a platform to create the packages to transfer the data from different systems into other systems by using extract, transformation, and loading?
Great, Chandra. You made it very quick and so very crisp and very meaningful. So yes, so as Chandra mentioned, so this is an ETL tool. So this is the tool where it has a capability actually to perform an extraction, the transformation, and loading. But before the proceeding into an actual ETL, what is an ETL and all and everything, so let me explain you what is an SAP's strategy. So how actually the SAP has divided all its tools, all SAP BO related tools, how actually the SAP has divided. So let me show you the real quick. And so what actually the SAP strategy and all. But before proceeding further, so we will try to understand, so what is the business intelligence? So I would like to hear from you. So even though you are all experts in your respective area, so because to have a rapport should be built, so I would like to hear from you guys, what is the business intelligence? So maybe maybe I'm asking very basic question. So, but yeah, I would like to hear from you guys, especially if you have any freshers in your the team, any startup guys. So I would like to hear from you guys so that you will be get hold of the sessions. Any guesses should be fine. So what are your experience in business intelligence transform?
I will take a shot at it. I think business intelligence is again a platform where you present the data to the business users so that they can make some meaningful decisions.
Right? Very simple. Yes. So the business intelligence is a process or methodology where we are going to present the data to the end user in a meaningful format so that they will take a decision sort of it. So that is actually main aim of a business intelligence. So as part of a business intelligence, so what you are going to do? You are going to do some aggregation. You are going to present the data with the help of a different the reporting tools we have in the market. That can be SAP tools, non-SAP tools we have, and we are going to draw some statistics out of it, and you are going to take a decision on fact-based decisions that are possible, where the dashboard, where the chart, where what you call as the decisions, everything will be based upon a fact. So that's the reason why the business intelligence is a process where it is going to enable the end user to trade or drive the end user to take a decision depends upon the fact they have. So whenever I say fact, it is a data driven, it is a fact driven, it is a decision driven report, or it is a decision driven data, what you can say that. So having this particular knowledge regarding the business intelligence, so we will see that what is the main aim of it. So we have something called as raw data here, and this particular raw data you are going to convert and you are going to make it into a dashboard. So this is what actually the main aim of an implementation of any particular aim, any particular company's aim would be the implementation of a business intelligence. The aim would be to convert the raw data and make it useful as a dashboard to the end user. So this is what actually happens whenever any company implements a business intelligence. So having this particular aim, if any particular company has started implementing the business intelligence, so they will be in dilemma. So what is the company's product they have to purchase and how they have to proceed and all and everything. So having this particular dilemma, they will start, okay, what are all the steps I have in the business intelligence? The steps would be something called as data sources. What are the different data sources we have? So what is, we have something called an exchange, what is a transformation, what exactly we're going to load it, and so what actually you are going to have a business intelligence tools we have, and what is an output sort of it, like like in the form of a mobile devices. So you know that like all the world is running towards mobile technology. So they want to dashboards, they want reports, everything should be onto their dashboards, or everything should be onto their mobile. So that is what actually they want to have. Even, like some of the vice presidents of the companies, they want to see their the selfies actually, believe it or not. In one of the articles I have read recently, where so one of the CEO wants to have their selfies. So how actually the selfies have gone mad to the people. So they want to do some analysis regarding the selfies. For those also, like all these different types of mobile applications or matters a lot. So for those implementation of mobile applications also, we need to make use of a business intelligence lifecycle. So this is what actually happens from the business intelligence standpoint, from the lifecycle standpoint. I thought of spending a lot of time on the business intelligence, but I got an idea that you guys are already experts in the business intelligence area but new to the SAP BODS. I thought of skipping this particular the topic, and we can directly jump onto an SAP BODS so that we will spend most of our time in the SAP BODS area. So these are all the core capabilities of a BI. Yeah, I'm not talking about specific to SAP. It can be Microsoft BI, or it can be Oracle BI. So BI is not specific to any particular company or not specific to any particular technology. So a lot of people, like even though they have more years of experience, they will be in wrong impression that so BI is nothing but a tool. It is specific to SAP, or maybe the BI is specific to Oracle, maybe BI is specific to Microsoft. No. So BI or business intelligence as a whole is only a single term. Each and every company will follow the same methodology. Like data warehousing, they need to have a data mining, they need to have a data quality, they need to have a dashboarding, they need to have a collaboration search, they need to have a visualization, scorecards, ad hoc analysis, the production report, and collab analysis. These are all the different core capabilities of a term called business intelligence. So how actually each and every company like Oracle or Microsoft or SAP, how they are going to implement with their products, it's their patent. But as a whole, if any company is implementing a business intelligence, this is what their responsibility to implement data storage and mechanism, data storage and management, information delivery, how they want to deliver it to the end users in the mobile apps, maybe as part of a self-service products, maybe as a data visualization, maybe scorecards and etc. etc. So similarly, they want to have a feasibility for the end users to query, to report it, to do an analysis. It all depends upon the core capabilities of a BI. Okay, so irrespective of products, so this is the capabilities of the SAP or non-SAP BI. So having this particular knowledge, now we will try to understand what is an SAP's business intelligence strategy. So please observe carefully. Wherever so we have this yellow color, so these are all the core SAP business objects products. Please observe carefully. In 2007, I have told you that the SAP has acquired business objects. So SAP got some products where it can do an ETL, it can also like perform a reporting and etc. etc. And similarly, in 2007 in that area, even the business objects also have its own products, like it can do an ETL, it can have a reporting, etc. etc. It can do a data quality management, like how actually the SAP is doing, core SAP is doing. So all these things are there. Even in 2007 also, in SAP and BO are two independent products, and in some areas they are all competitors in that area in 2007 or 2008. So whenever they have taken, or SAP has taken over the friendly acquisition of an SAP business objects or business objects company, so whatever the products that you're able to see in yellow color, those are all merged with all the other products with other ash color. So you will see that, like SAP PEX, SAP Business Warehouse Accelerator, SAP NetWeaver BW, Master Data Management, SAP ERPs, Finance, CRM, SRM, HCM, PLM. These are all the core SAP modules. So they are all the core SAP modules. So all these things have combined now. Actually, when I say combined, still they are all independent in installation, but as and when required, depends upon the customer's landscape, we are going to just communicate with one another. So let us take an example that if we already have an SAP BW in your landscape, then we will try to install only BO related stuff, BO related the components. Or like BO, when I say BO related components, I'm referring to business objects company related components. If you are talking about an ETL, then just simply install data services here. If you are talking about reporting from the business objects, then you will I'm referring to business objects enterprise, where you are going to get an Excel sheet reporting tool, Excel sheet dashboard, Web Intelligence reporting tool, Crystal Reports reporting tool, Explorer as a search and collaboration, and analysis office, or for OLAP, something like that as a alternative to the PEX. So all these things, so as an SAP business intelligence strategy. So this is a very, very important point, because so the people who have spent the 15 years or 10 years in the core SAP, if they are trying to move from SAP to a combination of an SAP business object, they will get like a lot of confusion in area where how actually the business objects and the core SAP products are getting merged. This is where actually you have to understand. So SAP, don't compare an SAP BW with an data services, or don't compare the core SAP products with business objects, because if you do start doing the comparison, you will get a lot of confusion. So both are independent products. So they have their own installations, they have their own components, they have they are used for different purposes, core SAP and core business objects products. and we are here to understand the core SAP core business object product that is called as data services. Data services is a core business object product, and because after acquisition, now the data services is tightly integrated with the SAP BW, the core SAP tool, and the data services is tightly integrated with an SAP ERP systems. So this is all about how actually the SAP business intelligence strategy. Okay, so I would like to hear from you if you don't have any questions. So we will proceed further on to the next slide, because this slide will help you to understand what is an SAP's business intelligence strategy. Two independent products got combined, so how they are fulfilling the SAP business intelligence strategy is very important here. Okay, so having this particular knowledge of what is an SAP BI, now please understand whatever the products we have, all the products now clearly divided. SAP has clearly divided the reporting tools and an ETL tools into two different the categories. One is called as business intelligence, and another one is called as an enterprise information management. So this is a very, very important point to understand. When I say business intelligence is a term, as I mentioned, to provide a meaningful report or meaningful dashboard, meaningful visualization, meaningful interaction onto your iPads, maybe the Blackberries, etc., etc. Whenever I say enterprise information management, EIM means, so it can do a metadata management, it can do a data integration, text analytics, so data quality and master data management. So there are all the other different things happening from the enterprise information management. This enterprise information management will help you to understand, so what is actually we can do with the data integration. So what is the data quality, I mean to say with the information steward, and with the text analytics. So you know, down the line, or else nowadays you would able to see that a lot of like unstructured data is flowing into the market. Almost like 80% of the data for each and every company is coming from the like different social media networks like Twitter and Facebook and RSS feeds and different blogs. So if Samsung has released any particular product, if they want to understand the sentiment analysis regarding its own product, so they are relying on the social media network. If they are trying to understand regarding the width, maybe the features, maybe the color, maybe some apps the customer wants to have, something like that. So like the SAP, or else some other Samsung company. So they are entirely relying currently on the social media networks. So they are currently focusing on those. So if you want to understand the, the sentiment analysis or trend analytics or predictive analytics, now the market is, proceeding towards the predictive analytics. So all these different kinds of text analytics, conversion of that unstructured data into structured data, and you also heard about something called the big data now, with Hadoop and etc., etc. Even an SAP BODS can talk to Hadoop, HDFS file systems, high distributed file systems, and so it can perform the conversion of uncleansed data to cleansed. It can perform the unstructured data to structured. So all these things can be part of your enterprise information management. The tools that we are trying to understand now in our session is an SAP BODS and information steward. These will come under the category called enterprise information management. These will really are part of your course, enterprise information management. So if you see left hand side, you have something called as common management. Common management means administration console, security, storage, the scheduling and publishing and systems management. These are all the common management features or techniques where these management can be done from the SAP business objects. whether you install data services, whether you install information steward, whether you install master data management or metadata management, different tools on your system, all the systems management or administration can be done from the tool called SAP Business Objects. So that is what actually I mentioned. Okay, but it is not mandatory to install a business object, but there are some supplements. So let us take an example that in my company, if I am not using a business object as a reporting tool, there is no point of installing business objects in order to use the data services. There are some supplements, there are some alternatives that we will see down the line. So this is all about the SAP's, strategy, or I would like to give you like how actually the SAP BI platform, the SAP's BI platform's logical view across an SAP landscape. So how actually all the components of your the business intelligence products are actually scattered across the different components actually. So the end user or the multi-client consumption would be on your enterprise portals, on your maybe on your Excel sheets, on your browsers, on your mobile phones, and etc. etc. So all these things are part of your SAP BI platform's logical view across an SAP landscape. Okay, the sources can be your RSS feeds, your documents, your emails, and all your information, and etc. etc. Okay. So do you have any questions, or anybody wants to do any comment on this? If you're good, then so I will proceed to the next slide. So because these are all very important, actually it will help you to understand more about an SAP strategy, what SAP is thinking about its own products, what or how so we have to plan your career if you're trying to learn an SAP BODS and etc. If you say yes on your chat window, that should be fine. That should be signal for me to proceed further to the next slide. So that is what actually I'm trying to understand here. Okay, guys. Now, yes, the information steward is also a part of a training. Yes, don't worry. But we will follow some sequence. We will start with an SAP BODS, then we will proceed towards the information steward. Now, so till now, we could able to understand that from SAP world, so we have mainly two streams actually. One is called as business intelligence, and other one is called as a enterprise information management, EIM tools. So when I say EIM, what is your approach actually? So what are all the different departments we have in EIM again, in enterprise information management? In the enterprise information management, we are trying to understand data integration and quality management. This comes under an SAP BODS. From data warehouse and management, we have some other tools will be taking care of it. Similarly, we have something called as master data management. This will be taken care by the different tools. Similarly, we have something called as content and information lifecycle management. This will be taken care by the different tools. So these are all the four different departments we have as part of the EIM solution or EIM portfolio. So enterprise information management. So what are all the different tools, or what are all the different the people who are all responsible for each and everything? So the data integration, data quality will be helpful to create the process and to cleanse majority of the data, and the rest of the things will be taken care to create it, cleanse it, integrate it, manage it, governance it, and archive. Archive means if you don't want to have any unused SAP systems, we can wipe out those. So that is what actually happens with an archive. So we are trying to understand the first step of your enterprise information management is the data integration and the quality management from the technology standpoint. So anyway, we have decided to use the data integration, data quality as an implementation of an EAM portfolio. Now, this is our responsibility to understand what are all the tools to consider. So now we will consider an SAP BODS as a data integration and the data quality management tool. So that is what actually we are trying to understand here. And now, what are all the different enterprise groups? When I say enterprise groups, these executive sponsors, the line of business owner, IT, and data stewards, these are all comes under your enterprise groups actually. So in your landscape. So the executive sponsors, line of business owners for each and everything. If you have a supply chain analytics, one product owner will be there. So if you have a procedural systems, some separate owner will be there for that. And similarly, if you have a medical systems, you will be having the owner for that. So these are all that comes under the business owners, the IT heads. So all these are all comes under the different enterprise groups you have in your organization. So all these the people comes under, or they come under the category called enterprise information management. This is what actually happens from the EAM standpoint. And now we will try to understand, so what actually the solution that you're talking about, and what each and every tool will actually does that actually. So I have specifically mentioned the information steward, how the previously it used to, and now what it is actually. So we have the solution as I mentioned previously. So we have something called metadata management. Metadata management means, let us take an example that, so we have different enterprise departments you have in your company. That can be marketing is one department, sales is one department, inventory management is another department in your company. So these are all comes under the different enterprise departments. So for each and every department, they have their own way of like storing the data. They have their own metadata. So all the metadata has to be maintained at one location so that everybody will be aware of how actually our master data management is maintained and extracted. So in order to proceed further, so we need to have a solution called metadata management. And this metadata management and data profiling. Data profiling means how actually the data is all about. So to understand more about your data, so we will proceed with the SAP BO Insight and SAP metadata management. So finally these two products got combined, and now we are calling an SAP BO Information Steward actually. Okay, this is what actually happens here. The solution, what is the current technology, and what is the newer version of the information steward. So this is what actually happens from the EAM portfolio consolidation and the integration standpoint. So we will see that what actually each and every tool will does in detail whenever we are going to the proceeding towards your the actual topic. So we have something called an SBOP data insight, and SBOP means SAP Business Objects Platform Metadata Management, SAP Business Objects Platform Data Insight. These two are got combined, and now we are saying that information steward. And similarly, if you are talking about a data quality management and data integration, we will be talking about a data services. If it is a text analytics, you have something called a text analytics tool. And similarly, we also have a master data management. With the help of a master data management, MDM, we can achieve the master data management. So these are all the different parts of your EAM, basically where our BODS and information steward will fall into actually. So this is all about, so I'm going brief bit more inside the information steward actually. So what actually the information steward will do? So we are going to define the things. So whenever I say define the things, we are going to write some cleansing rules, you are going to do some validation rules, and you are going to do some profiling in the information steward, and you are going to monitor the data, and you are going to resolve the quality issues. Depends upon the score, depends upon the scorecards and etc. And you are going to improve the quality of your data. So that is all about the information steward actually. Okay. So this is how actually I made it very crisp. I made it like very simple. I don't want to spend most of my time on this what is an SAP product or not, because you're already aware of all these things. Otherwise, I could have taken 2-3 hours session on this completely. But I would like to hear from you guys actually. So if this speed is fine, you want me to cut down, because so I have like mentioned these slides, assuming that you guys were well aware of at least 4 SAP products. You guys well aware of so what are all the systems we have, what are all the products we have, and where actually our data services is fall into. That is what my assumption. With that mindset, I have spoke with you guys till this time. So correct me if I am not wrong. So please let me know your feedback so that I can the proceed further. So the speed is fine, or whatever I'm assuming is correct, and etc. etc. My main point would be, so I'm in an impression that you guys well aware of like why the BODS is used, what is an EAM, what is a business intelligence product, so where actually it will fit into, so what we are trying to understand, what are all our features, and etc. etc. Okay, guys. So thanks for your response. So yeah. So since you're okay with the speed, then I will continue the same. So okay. So my agenda would be to explain you today the rest of the like 30 minutes or 40 minutes we're going to discuss. So my idea would be to explain you SAP BODS is all about. So what are all the points that we will discuss from an SAP BODS the standpoint? So those are all the things that we'll discuss for another 10-30 minutes. So the responsibility is used to explore the data, to transform the data, to move the data anywhere, any frequency. That is what actually happens from the data services standpoint. So we are going to so are you able to hear me now, guys? Okay, thank you. So now we are going to explore the data. We are going to transform the data. We are going to move the data anywhere at any frequency. That is what actually happens here. So whenever I say we are going to improve the data, we are going to parse the data, we are going to cleanse the data, we are going to enhance and match it and consolidate the data. So that is what mainly the data services will do actually. So the improve the data means parse it, cleanse it, enhance it. This is actually come under a category called data quality, whereas the explore, the transform, and move the data anywhere, any frequency, it comes under the data integration part actually. Okay. So now please observe carefully. It is a very, very important point. So how and so what are all the different features we have? So if you talk about different source systems, we have something called an SAP R3 systems, SAP ERPs, something called an SAP NetWeaver BW, and we have something called as an Oracle DB2, the PeopleSoft, Oracle Apps, Civil Analytics, the files, XML, mainframes. So these are all the different systems, and I mean to say heterogeneous systems, and they are going to be initially data profiled with BODS and even with information steward. After that, you are going to make use of an existing data services engine. You are going to proceed with the data cleansing part, data validation, and data auditing. And you will be loading into either ECC system or SAP BW system or else into a SQL server. And so we will see the query, reporting, analysis, and dashboarding using reporting tools actually. Okay, due course of time. So how actually the SAP BODS will talk to? See here. So SAP ERP system, CRM system, it can also talk to SAP MDM. It can talk to SAP BW, something like that. And how actually the SAP BODS will be used? The BODS will be used. Most of the projects currently they are using for the data integration and the data quality, and also for the data migration. These are all the mainly three different the streams of the projects where they are using. And there is one more what you call as the projects is the data replication. You are aware that SAP HANA is introduced into the market in mid of 2011. So from then onwards, the market for SAP BODS is doubled actually, because wherever they have SAP HANA got installed, it is mandatory to install an SAP BODS as an ETL tool. So that is a recommendation. It doesn't mean that without installing BODS, the SAP HANA won't work. It will work, but the recommendation would be to install an SAP BODS to have a better results, to have a better communication with the heterogeneous systems. So that is what actually happens with an SAP BODS standpoint. So that's the reason why wherever you see data migration projects, wherever you see SAP HANA landscape, wherever you see what you call as data integration projects, data consolidation projects, where it includes SAP CRM, where it includes an SAP ECC system, where it includes like SRM, HRM, etc., where you will be seeing a scenario of data consolidation using SAP data services. And one of the client what I have worked on, they are completely relying on an SAP BODS. When I say SAP BODS, what they are relying on, they're relying on the something like, let me give you a very, like the basic example on it. The example would be, so the client, whatever I have worked on, so what they have is the something called as, they have an SAP CRM. Okay, so they have an SAP the CRM system, and so they also have something called as SAP ECC system. SAP ECC system also they have, and they also have something called as SAP SCM. They also have. So they have the different the portfolios they have in the landscape. So what they are saying is they are trying to like combine everything. They are trying to consolidate everything like this. They are trying to consolidate everything. Data should be, everything should be consolidated, and so they will be what you call as, finally they will be loading into a SQL server actually. Okay, so SQL server and something like this, database, and after that they will be proceeding with the reporting. They will be proceeding into the reporting. That is what actually they used to do in general, something like this. Okay, into a reporting means they will create different types of reports actually. So they will the proceeding into like this can be a dashboard. They will proceed with those also proceed with some reports. They will also proceed with the something called as the enterprise reporting and etc. etc. They will have a lot of the scenarios they are proceeding. So for everything they are using only the SQL server. So what they want to do is simply wants to consolidate something like this. That's it. This is what actually they are trying to do. So this is only what you call as SQL server actually. This is a SQL server, and so this is the something called as SAP ECC system, and this is the something they are proceeding with an SAP CRM. Finally, like why they want to go for this combination of SAP ECC and SAP CRM is because they want to do some supply chain analytics in order to have some material, in order to have some their business partner members, business partner functions. If they want to consolidate and everything, they want to proceed with an SAP ECC, SAP CRM, and also they will have something called as heterogeneous file systems. They have it actually. So when I say file systems, I have a lot more. I have an XML. So I have something called as the text files, Excel sheets. So all these things they have actually. So the text files. These are all the different heterogeneous they have, and finally they will be loading everything into the SQL server. So my client is like a $10 billion company, and they have a sales revenue more than $10 billion. I mean, say every year. So they are completely relying on the SAP BODS, and so whatever may be the project they have, and even recently it got acquired by one more the client in the pharma. So so they are completely into an SAP BODS, and so they are using the SQL server as as a database, enterprise data warehousing system, or a enterprise OLTP system, where they are trying to create a report on the SQL server and etc. etc. So all these things are matters whenever we are going to implement SAP BODS as a high level implementation of the course and all and everything. Okay. So this is all about how actually the landscape can be designed. That's what I'm trying to tell you. One landscape. This is a very the simple landscape. How actually the customers can be proceed with the different scenarios of SAP, ECC, CRM, and XML, Excel sheet, and text, and etc. Now, so we will proceed with the next slide where it will gives us a bit more understanding. So what are all the different heterogeneous systems where the BODS can talk to? The different heterogeneous systems or SAP, CRM, whenever I say RDBMS systems, we have something called as Oracle, the SQL Server, the SAP HANA. So all these things are very much important here. Excel sheet, web, ERPs, so SAP ERPs, non-SAP ERPs, emails, files, and etc. etc. And these are all the different heterogeneous systems. And the main aim of this data services would be to perform a original raw data, would be converted into a useful extraction, transformation, and loading, and load the data into properly structured format. This is what actually happens here. So original raw data would be converted into a properly structured format using an ETL process, an extraction, transformation, and loading. So we will see again these things tomorrow. And another main component we have is the data quality management. Whenever I say data quality management, we have something called as original raw data, to standardize and correct the data, and match and duplicate the data. This is what actually happens here. So please observe the first three records we have. What are all the first three records we have? We have something called as Richard Tarnhawk GAN, the Future Electronics, Tarnhawk GAN, the Hack Gone TAN. These are all the three different records we have. These three different records will be cleansed and will be deduplicated actually. So how it is arriving to the only two records. That is actually the secret of a data quality management. So how actually data quality management? How actually the BODS could be able to identify whether it is a duplicate record, whether it is a unique record, what are the strategy behind of identification. So all the things that we will be mentioned in the data quality management. And so now, till now, we have gone through what are the different parts of the data services. One is the data quality is one part, and second one is the data integration is the second part in the data services actually. So now we will see the main part will be data services technical architecture. The technical architecture of a data services would be, so we will be understanding the technical architecture, so it depends upon, so what are all the fields we have actually. The fields we have is a designer. Whenever I say like fields means, so I'm referring to the modules actually. So designer, administrator, different repositories we have, something like central repository, local repository, and profiler repository. And we have something called as a job server, and we have something called as a request and response based access server. So all these things are the part of your SAP BODS architecture actually. So, okay, so we will see that how actually these components are connected, what is your strategy, how these components are logically connected, how these components are physically connected. So all these things that we will see, not a problem.
This is I own
and so from data services physical architecture standpoint, these are all the different components where these components will get scattered across three physical systems actually. So one is called as client systems, repository database system, and the third one is a server. Server would be like so where actually your the services will get hosted actually. These are all the three physical systems where actually your resources, your components will get scattered. So that is what actually we will try to understand from the data services, the physical architecture standpoint. So we will see that actually how actually data services physical architecture, how actually data services logical architecture, so how they are related, what we will learn due course of time. So everything that we will see that. And till now we have gone through just an architecture part, how the BODS is going to be initiated, what are all the things we have, and etc. etc. And now we are entering into the topic where the topic it will help you to understand what actually the development part, that is what our main important stuff that we are about to discuss, right? So that is the development in the data service. What actually the process that needs to be followed, the development process. The development process would be data services designer. In the data services designer, we have something called as a project, we have something called as a job, data flow, and so we also have a workflow. So these are all the different components. As part of a data services designer, we will try to understand from the data services designer standpoint. So the project, job, data flow, workflow, all the things that needs to be created if you want to perform an ETL, extraction, transformation, and loading. And these are all the different interfaces where the BODS can talk to. The BODS can talk to something like databases, applications, the files, transport, mainframes, and etc. So whenever I say
the actual class, look at it. It's going on.
Yeah, I just muted guys. So if you don't have any questions, I request you guys to be mute yourself. So there are all the different databases, different applications, the files, and mainframes, and etc. etc. So these components or these interfaces doesn't require any coding if you want to communicate directly with an SAP BODS. So that's the reason why BODS is very popular. So if you want to communicate to any particular tool, any third-party tool, you don't have to install anything. You don't have to code anything. Simply you have to run the exe, and it will automatically get connect to your SAP BODS. So that is what actually happens from the BODS standpoint. So now we are entering into a data stores. What are the data stores we have actually? So what is meant by data store? Actually, that is what we are going to see that. So data stores here is an object within an SAP BODS in order to communicate with the different sources. Let us take an example that if you are trying to communicate with databases, then you need to create a layer, logical layer called data store. If you are trying to communicate with an EC system, so you need to have an application data store. If you are trying to communicate with an adapter data stores, I mean to say with the cloud systems, with the web services, we need to create an adapter data stores. Whenever I say cloud, the systems, the cloud systems means an SAP CRM. So those would be sometimes on the cloud. So similarly, if you are talking about Salesforce.com, so Salesforce, SFDC, this would be a cloud CRM system, right? So similarly, we can have, there are some scenarios where HANA is also maintained on cloud. So for those, actually, we can have an adapter, the kind of data stores also can be created. These are all the different types of data stores in order to establish a connection to the data services to the data sources, actually. Okay, so I have just mentioned a screenshot. So how actually the data source with help of a source, with the help of a target, how actually those can be communicated with. So all these things that I mentioned with respect to this particular data store or data target actually. And similarly, so what are all the different types of objects that needs to be created? Like single use object within an SAP BODS designer. What is a reusable object in an SAP BODS designer? So what is an architecture of it? We will once again see all these things tomorrow. So what is an object hierarchy in SAP BODS? So what are the key interfaces we have? What are all the transformations we have with each and every example? What is a query transformation? What is an actions performed by the query transformation? Example of a query transformation. So what actually the query transformation will do? So all these things, different the real-time examples that we will see with the help of this particular SAP BODS course. Now, what I will do is actually I will just try to log into the server. I just try to show you so how actually the server will look like. And now I'm trying to log in into an SAP BODS server where we got the SAP BODS is already installed, and so it got already in SAP BIBO platform. So do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions, guys? This is the SAP BODS server. So in this server, so we have something called as an SAP Data Services 4.2. Actually, we have, see here, these are all the components we have, Data Services Designer. And in this particular system, we also have an SAP Business Object. So we will see that what is the relationship we have in this particular server with the business objects, our business SAP BIBO platform within data services. We will see a relationship between these two and how actually these two are related. We will see all these things as part of this particular course. So in tomorrow's session, we will recap of what is an SAP BODS for 5 to 10 minutes, and next we will see that so what is an SAP BODS designer, what each and every module will do, what are the responsibilities of each and every module, and so what are the modules that we focus more. So we will try to understand each and everything as part of our course. Okay, so now I'm trying to log in into an SAP BODS designer, and so let us see so how it will go. Now I'm trying to log in into an SAP BODS designer. Yes, I've just mentioned the password, log into an SAP BODS designer. Now it will log in. Thanks for being on hold, guys. So now, so we are logged into an SAP BODS server. So now I will try to open an existing project. See here, this is what project. This is a job. And within the job, we don't have anything. But let us try to open an existing one. And let us try to understand here. This is the project. And this is the job. And this is the data flow. And this is actually the workspace here. In the workspace, what we're trying to understand here. So this is what your the different sources. So what are the different transformations we have and different targets we have. Okay, this is all about the SAP BODS designer. So in the designer, we will see a lot more. See here, we have something called as the transformations, data integrated transformations, data quality transformations, data platform transformations, and data text data processing transformations. So it will use to convert the unstructured data structure. Actually, we can do that after. And certainly, so somebody asked me where the CMC and where the CMC is there. The CMC is also here. Server management console. In this particular the server, actually, the CMC is installed, and so with the help of the CMC, we are trying to do a management or the data services management and the information steward management. Now I'm trying to log into the CMC, Central Management Console, actually. Central Management Console is a component of an SAP Business Objects. See here, if you log into an SAP Business Objects product, you will see a Data Services tab here, and you will also see the Information Steward tab. Don't worry, we will see everything tomorrow again. I'm just trying to give you a very brief idea so before proceeding into the actual topics. So this is a designer, and this is all the different transformations we have. Something called as the query transformation, the case transformation, etc. And we have something called as an SAP as a data sources. We have something called as web data flow, normal data flow. Okay, so see here, we have different platformations, case, map, merge, query, project, SQL, validation, and XML and a sort file. These are all the different things we have actually. This is a designer. So we also have an information steward also. So you can go to the start, and we can go to all programs. So you can see like where actually the tools or product is there. So you can go to the respective product and you can identify where actually you have the information steward. Okay. So this is how actually you are going to proceed with in the information steward. Or else you can go to the SAP BA Launchpad, or else you can also go to the SAP BODS designer, and also we have something called a data services management console. These are all the products. If you observe carefully here, these are all the products like Workbench, Server Manager, Repository Manager, Local Selector, Data Services Designer, and so we have one more product called Data Services Management Console. These are all the different modules will get installed on your system whenever you go to install a software called SAP Business Objects. We will see what is the prerequisites to install an SAP BODS, what are all the different points needs to be considered with the installation of SAP BODS. So all these things that we will see as part of your particular course in tomorrow's time. Do you have any questions? Am I confusing you guys, or else you are getting it? I need the feedback so that I can cut down my speed, or I can be more provide more clarity on this. Your update will really help me. It will really help us to proceed further. So do you have any questions, guys? You can simply say yes or no in the chat window. So that will be signal for me if we don't have any questions or you have a question. Okay guys, so if you don't have any questions, so we are done for today, and so we will continue tomorrow. So the training, the schedule and all will be sent by the Kavita, and we'll proceed from there. Chandra, Janet, Karen, do you don't have any questions? Okay guys, so thank you very much. See you tomorrow.